So here we are, the middle of March, and right now I have a hoodie on, which is not quite enough. I think it's upper 30s, a little bit of breeze out of the south. And if you just look around me today, as I take the camera and kind of pan it around, it looks like a very beautiful sunny day. And it absolutely is. It's great. I love days like this. Cool, clear. In Central Texas, they're kind of a rare thing, especially as we get closer to late spring and summer. But the reason I make this video today is it's upper 30s right now, and last night I checked it about 3 a.m. I got up, went over and checked. We were 25 degrees. Yeah, we were 25 degrees. You would not expect that here in Central Texas, Texas Hill Country. Those of you who are not that familiar with Texas probably just think of it as hot and humid, and for the most part, you're correct. Now, Texas is a big state. If you go up into the Texas Panhandle, I always say if you go up to Amarillo or even slightly north of there, the weather profile there is similar to Denver, closer to Denver than it is to here. And here in this area, this is zone 8A, which is a very warm zone. Typically our first freeze typically is around November 1st, and our last freeze is April 1st. And even as I'm saying that, that sounds a little bit late. Last year we had our last freeze on April 6th. But typically, probably at the end of this month here in March is our last freeze. But last night was a hard frost, 25 degrees. There was frost all over everything this morning. A lot of little winter weeds had started to come out. In fact, I've already done a little mowing around my house and around Whirlwind Family Farm because of weeds that are already starting to pop up. And because we've had 85, we almost hit 90 degrees. In fact, Austin, which is about 90 miles right over there southeast of me, they broke a record day before yesterday. They hit 97 degrees. 97 degrees. So you would not think that today, here on March 17th, as I'm videoing this, that it was 25 degrees last night. So the reason I tell you that whole story is the importance of hardy zones and knowing your hardy zone. Because no matter what the weather is doing right at this very moment, the hardy zone will give you an idea of kind of the history of what's happened in your area from year to year. And those of you who have small backyard gardens or have been gardening for a while, it's amazing. People who do a lot of gardening, they know their weather and they know the history because they have lived through some disappointments before where maybe they planted slightly too early and they lost a crop of something. And the same thing with big monocrop farmers. They know, they've been doing it for so many years. They have a pretty good idea when that last frost is going to happen in the spring. But back to the hardy zone. The hardy zone in North America, in the United States, is a pretty simple thing. The USDA, I believe, is the one that laid that out. They laid that out years ago, and a few times it's been tweaked and changed, but it pretty much goes like this. If you're in North Dakota or you're in Minnesota, up near the Canadian border, that's going to be around zone 3. If you're in deep South Texas, or you're down almost to Miami, Florida, that's going to be zone 9 or zone 10. And I've used this example many times, is you basically have to look at it as bookends. As the first frost is a bookend, which for here is November 1st, and the last frost is April 1st, which is the other bookend, and everything in between there is the growing zone, or times when there's growing can happen. In spring, you're going to work your way out of the cold into the heat of the summer. And of course, fall, I always say, is spring in reverse. And you're headed to that final bookend. So the larger the number, the bigger that circle is, that circle or bookend. Bookends are closer together. If you're down around Harlingen, Texas, I'm sure I've never lived down there. I've been down there many times to go down to South Padre, down to those, it's a beautiful beach area down there. There may be years when they don't have a frost at all. But here, as you move into zone 8 in Central Texas, we have quite a few frost in the Texas Hill Country. And last night was a perfect example of why not to get too quick, too fast with things that are going to go outside unless you have some sort of row covering to protect those things. And there are those particular vegetables which do great or do fairly well even after they've had a little bit of frost. The brassicas, some of the Swiss chards, the spinach, things like that, they can survive a frost. In fact, I've got a Swiss chard right now that's kind of a little rogue Swiss chard that I've got planted out there. And through the winter time, it was completely frozen down, and it's starting to come back. And it made its way through, and it's making a comeback. It's just a perfect example of how some plants can make it through the cold season. So I made this video today to remind those of you who maybe are gardening for the very first time or have just started gardening the last couple of years. Always pay attention to that hardy zone, because it's going to give you a lot of information. And once you find out your zone, and it's easy to do, just go into your search engine of your phone, your laptop, whatever you use, type in Hardy Zone United States, see where you're at. And then once you've done that, you can drill down and go in and do a search and find out what is the growing time or the growing times for those specific vegetables that you're about to plant. And it'll give you a chart. It'll say, hey, for your tomatoes, if you're in zone 8A, you probably should start your seeds in the first part of April or late March. And the same thing with okra. Okra is going to be a little further along. It's going to be closer to late April or mid-April in this zone. So that's the beauty of having, it's kind of like a roadmap in a way to tell you when the best times to plant, when's the best time to grow particular vegetables. So I know this is a very singular focused video today talking about hardy zones, but last night was such a good example of why you need to pay attention to it, because if I would have just gone by the weather that we've had over the last 2 weeks, I would have thought, man, we're out of the woods. We're clear. I can start planting things, putting things outside, because heck, we've hit already 85. I think we were 89 degrees 3 days ago. And right now I feel like this hoodie is not enough. I'm kind of cold. We've got a little bit of light breeze and it's in the upper 30s. And there's a wind chill here that is not comfortable. So there you go. Check out your hardy zone. Let it be your guide for planting all the way from spring, right now here in early spring, as we go through summer into fall. And then finally we'll enter back into winter time again. And those of you who have season extenders, like a greenhouse, there's people who out there who can grow things and all the way through the winter time. And if you have a greenhouse, you're probably one of those people that you know your hardy zone and you're very familiar with your growing techniques, because that is a definite season extender, and a greenhouse is something that's really nice to have. I think greenhouses are fantastic, even small ones, for starting off your seedlings in your seed trays, and then you can transfer out. But that's a whole nother discussion. The season extenders, high tunnels, greenhouses, the little mini hoops that you can put over different plants to get them through early spring. But guys, that's my thoughts for the day is beware of that hardy zone. Let it be your roadmap for your growing season ahead, and we know you're going to do great. Thanks for finding our channel. Again, I'm Jeff with Whirlwind Family Farm. If you get value out of our channel, we do certainly appreciate when you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. And we always have another video over here that YouTube will suggest. We have a lot of videos. We know you'll like those. Check those out. Blessings over you, your family, and your garden this year. Talk to you soon from Whirlwind Family Farm.